wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't even...
Hey y'all, how we doing? Welcome to episode 54 of the Fourth Down Forum podcast. Now, obviously, y'all are probably wondering, yo, D, what are we covering today? What's on the agenda? Well, based off my gear, right, we got the Mitchell and Ness, Ray Lewis, throwback jersey. We got the, oh, wait a minute, what's that you say? This isn't my normal, one of my normal many plethora of Ravens hats? You're right. This is a hat that I was gifted at my job for being one of the longest tenured employees. I want to say our Christmas party of last year. This is the Super Bowl 58 NFL logo hat. So obviously that means we are covering, this is your Super Bowl special, Super Bowl spectacular, whatever you want to call it. That is what we're covering today. So right off the gate, before we get into that, we're going to cover the NFL honors because I believe the NFL honors come on tomorrow. I believe we find out who's going into the Hall of Fame, who's going to be, first-time finalists for the Hall of Fame this summer. And it's really crazy to think because, when I first got into football, I was like, okay, I'm not familiar with a lot of these guys. And then you get older, right? And it's, I watched this guy play in his prime. For example, Eli Manning. I watched Eli Manning growing up play for the Giants. Terrell Suggs, Marshall Yanda of my Baltimore Ravens. Those guys are eligible for the Hall. Steve Smith, another former Raven, Anquan Bolden. I don't know if those guys are eligible, but I know the three that I just named are eligible, and I'm hoping all three of them make it, because, But NFL honors. There's going to be some stuff I'm missing off of here. I don't know when the Walter Payton Man of the Year award gets announced. I'm not sure if that's at the honors or if that's at the actual Super Bowl. But who do I have taken home MVP? Now, I have said since the MVP race started, there are three viable candidates: Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Saquon Barkley. However, many of us know that the MVP award has been strictly and loosely a quarterback award for the past couple of years. So I'm going to take Saquon out of the equation. Y'all could make the jokey joke here, oh, but Lamar's a running back. No, what that man just did this season, first ever time cracking 4,000 passing yards. And people were like, oh, well, we judge Lamar based off of if he can pass. 41 touchdowns, I believe only 4 interceptions in the regular season. MV3 needs to happen. There's another scenario I could see where Lamar and Josh, they take the Peyton Manning route and they co-MVP. However, I'm picking Lamar to win MV3. It's not quite what he wants. He wants a Super Bowl. I understand that. I'm hoping, and I have it in my firm belief that he is going to take us to a Super Bowl and win us one. I digress. Offensive Player of the Year. This man plays for the Philadelphia Eagles. He is on a tear. I actually told my guy, my friend, my manager, Jessup, y'all know him. I told him, I was like, the best running backs in the NFL this season. This is before we even got into the season. I was like, it's going to be Dereck Henry of the Ravens, and it's going to be Saquon Barkley of the Philadelphia Eagles. And that prediction, lo and behold, became true. And y'all could sit here and be like, but Dereck Henry has a case. No, Saquon is Offensive Player of the Year. Defensive Player of the Year. It should go, and I can put my bias aside and admit when a division rival or a player of said division is balling out. And Trey Hendrickson of the Cincinnati Bengals has been balling out. However, for some reason, I don't know what it is, I feel like Myles Garrett is going to take home that award. Speaking of Myles Garrett, that man actually came out and requested a trade out of Cleveland. So that will be interesting to see. Is it going to hold? Is it just... Because, there are some situations where, hey, I requested a trade, but it's really they just wanted a contract. We've seen it with Lamar Jackson. We've seen it with Deebo Samuel. I think we may have seen it with Ayuk. I'm not 100% sure on that front, but now we're seeing it with Myles Garrett. I think if Myles Garrett's to get traded anywhere, the Eagles could be a possible landing spot for him. I think it's going to be another person or another team in that division, though. And I think the Washington Commanders are going to make a play for him if he is indeed up for trade. Speaking of trades, before we get back into the NFL honor portion of things, Cooper Kupp was informed that he is on the trade block as well. And yes, I know people are like, Ravens. No, I don't want another... I want another receiver, but I want a possession guy. I want an Anquan Bolden type of receiver. And actually, I believe Eric DaCosta on a podcast recently said the same thing. He knows we need a big physical receiver. So we'll see. But back to the topic at hand. Comeback player of the year. Again, I can admit when a division rival is balling out. Joe Burrow deserves comeback player of the year. He came back from that injury last season, has been balling out. Your coach of the year is going to be Kevin O'Connell. I've seen some people be like, well, Dan Quinn has a case for that, and that may be so. And I wouldn't argue with that. But Kevin O'Connell of the Minnesota Vikings led a Sam Darnold-led team to 14 wins in a stacked NFC North division. Your assistant coach of the year is going to be Ben Johnson. He is now the head coach of the Chicago Bears, was the offensive coordinator. And if there's any, if there's any categories we're missing, feel free to let me know, but I think I covered everything on that front. So now we get into the bread and butter of the podcast, right? Super Bowl 59. I personally am not a fan of Super Bowls that repeat themselves. I know it happens. I'm not going to sit here and say this is going to be the most boring Super Bowl I ever witnessed. That one was that snooze fest the Patriots and the Rams put on that one year. That one was I am a person who, while I can appreciate defense, right? I'm a guy who loves offense, loves shootouts, things of that nature. Super Bowl 59 is a rematch of Super Bowl, I believe, 57. That Super Bowl was dubbed as the Kelce Bowl. Obviously, Jason Kelce was playing for the Eagles. Travis Kelce was playing and still does play for the Kansas City Chiefs. So, this time, Jason Kelce is not going to be playing for the Philadelphia Eagles, but Travis is still playing for the Chiefs. So, who do I have winning this matchup? Where's this game emanating from? Who's going to be your Super Bowl MVP? Things of that nature, right? As much as I don't want the Chiefs to three-peat, I'm not picking them to three-peat. Not because I don't appreciate, Mahomes as a quarterback. I have said time and time again, he is the best quarterback in the league. He's not the GOAT yet, but he is on trajectory to get there. Who's the GOAT? Well, if you ask a lot of people, the undisputed GOAT is Tom Brady. The man won 7 rings a lot of people at the time with Brady were questioning, can he get a ring without Bill Belichick? Who's the system? Is it Brady or is it Belichick? Brady proved it's him. He went to Tampa, won a ring. Fun fact for y'all, though. My quarterback is 2-0 against one Tom Brady. I'll throw that in there. Super Bowl 59 is emanating from New Orleans, Louisiana. Not a bad place to have a Super Bowl. Actually, a pretty cool place to have a Super Bowl, if you ask me. The last time we won the Super Bowl, it was in New Orleans. And, you know, I've been there. It's nice. I would definitely visit again. So who do I have winning this game, you ask? The offense for the Philadelphia Eagles. Because this team's going to, it happens after every Super Bowl. The team dismantles, some things fall apart. And I believe there's already pieces in place for that, because I believe the Eagles offensive coordinator, Kellen Moore, is next in line for the Saints head coaching job. I have the Philadelphia Eagles winning Super Bowl 59 and getting their lick back on the Kansas City Chiefs, preventing the three-peat from happening. Why do I say this? One, Saquon Barkley is a monster. He's a beast. I remember when my Ravens played him, he was the one running back. You know, when we were gelling, fixing the defense, all that stuff. The one running back that ran all over us. The Eagles defense. They've seen Mahomes in the Super Bowl before. They'll see him again. You don't think they're going to understand it this time? Be like, okay, this is how Mahomes works. This is what he does. This is what he's accustomed to. And honestly, I should say that the game plan would be easy, and if you take Travis Kelce out of the equation, because let's be honest, Mahomes wasn't having an MVP level season this season. He was actually below average, which is crazy to say, but you know, he's got DeAndre Hopkins on his team, Pacheco, Xavier Worthy, which is another reason the Bills irk me, but I digress. I believe that the Eagles can win this Super Bowl for the reasons I just stated. I believe who's your Super Bowl MVP in this scenario? It's going to be Saquon Barkley. Could it be Jalen Hurts? Could it be A.J. Brown? Could it be Devontae Smith? Absolutely. But, you know, I just think this is the Eagles' year. And may I be wrong and the Chiefs may three-peat? It's a possibility. May we come back to this and I'm right. That's also a possibility. Other than that, things coming up on the channel. We're going to have some NBA coverage because the All-Star game is coming up, I believe, next weekend. So I'll put out an episode for that. Probably cover, because this has been, I'm not going to cover it on here, but this has been a hectic NBA trade deadline. And I'm going to have to put down, like, write it in my notes. You see, sometimes I can just rattle off things. Sometimes I have to have a format on it. Trade deadline has been crazy. I think crazier than 2019. That trade deadline was crazy for reasons, but we'll cover that on the NBA All-Star Game Special podcast. What else is coming up? We'll probably, I'm debating on if I want to cover the Combine. We might do it, maybe not. Give me a second. Sorry about that, y'all. Free agency frenzy that happens every year for the NFL. Me and my boy Michael, y'all know Michael, he's been on the podcast a couple of times. We are in the process of putting together the NFL mock draft edition of the podcast. Now, we did put a pause on it because, you know, Obviously, as I had said on the last podcast, I came down with the flu, so that put a pause in things. We're better now. We're good. I'm excited to announce this. The Fourth Down Forum brand has another sponsor. We are now an affiliate of Planet Euphoria. And what Planet Euphoria is they are a graphic t-shirt and apparel company. They make really cool hand-drawn graphic t-shirts and designs of your favorite sports players, whether it be baseball, basketball, football, collegiate football. I don't know if they do collegiate football, but they might. Other than that, we're now sitting at 253 subscribers, so we're getting closer to getting the next giveaway and putting that out there. Trying to think what other stuff. You will probably definitely be seeing more wrestling coverage content, because when the NFL season dies down, which is going to be when the Super Bowl happens, because there's like a month where nothing really happens besides the combine. Then it picks back up in off-season stuff. WrestleMania, Elimination Chamber, not in that order. It's going to be Elimination Chamber and then WrestleMania. I'll probably put prediction videos out for that as well. And I am somebody who, when I do like the sports coverage stuff, I like to cover different variations of sports. So I know we didn't get to do the World Series podcast like I wanted to. When opening day happens, I'll probably do a coverage on that. It won't be like, hey, this is what I think is going to happen. It's not going to be like predictions and stuff like that, but that will be there. Elimination Chamber and WrestleMania, like I was just talking about, those will be, I want to get back into doing prediction videos as opposed to fallout videos for that or reaction videos for that. And then I'm trying to think of other things that may be coming up, or stuff that we can use on the channel. But I know there's more that I want to talk about. I'm just having a, brain fart moment, which I do apologize for. NFL, MLB, wrestling, basketball. We'll probably cover basketball more. Obviously, I just said we're going to do the All-Star one. Probably do an episode for the finals. Probably do a playoff, bracket as well. So, yeah. I guess I can ask, we can sit here and be like, hey, what's y'all's favorite Super Bowl? That could be the question of the pod. Personally, I don't remember Super Bowl 35 because, yes, I'm from Baltimore. Yes, the Ravens are my team. I will never try to hide that, through the ups, through the downs. I stick with them. Super Bowl 35, I was like 4 years old and did not care in the world for football. No, when Super Bowl 47 rolled around, that Super Bowl was actually very special for a couple of reasons. One, it fell on my sister's birthday. Two, I was actually into football when that Super Bowl happened. So my favorite moment from that, other than, Flacco going on his incredible 11-0 touchdown to interception ratio, was Jacoby Jones returning the kickoff going into the second half of that Super Bowl. And, may Jacoby Jones rest in peace. But that was one of my favorite parts of Super Bowl 47. And then Super Bowl 47 in general. So I'm hoping, within these next couple of years, I think Lamar's proven, since re-signing that contract, first year MVP, second year best season that he's had since entering the league. So I believe that he can take us to a Super Bowl, and he will take us to a Super Bowl. But that said, y'all, this has been episode 44 of the Fourth Down Forum podcast. Much love.
Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000